Hello everybody, Marinka here. I was just getting ready to go out and I decided to stop and make a quick video on the top 10 influential books. I've seen this video around for months and nobody tagged me, but when has this ever stopped a booktuber from making a tag? Never. So I made a list of the books that influenced me throughout my life, and not only the message of the book influenced me, but also the style, the language, the circumstance, and many other details, and I will tell them to you. Fortunately, I do not have all the books because they're, I don't know, somewhere in the houses that I lived, or I gave them as presents, but I will include some pictures. So I made a quick list. I included the first book. It's The Adventures of Moll Flanders by Danielle Defoe. It's a French author. I read it in Romanian when I was very, very young, and maybe I shouldn't have read it because I remember it to be the first revealing erotic book reading. I read all about adultery life and manipulating people, but I remember it being influential for that time, so I decided to put it in the list. Next I have Mai Trei by Mircea Eliade. This was my first love story that didn't have a happy ending, and I was so shocked. I said, what is this? This is not even close to being real. All love stories have a happy ending, which wasn't true in the end. Next I have The Night Villa. This book has a very interesting story. I was in Miami, ready to go back to Europe. I was going from the hotel to the airport, and the taxi driver was a really nice guy. So he got into a conversation with me. We talked because the airport was quite far, and he said, how old are you, where are you from, and all that thing, and I told him who I was, and he said that, oh my god, I have a daughter the same age as you, and I see that from your personality you're very similar to her, and she loves to read. Do you like to read? And I said, yeah, but I don't read in English because I don't know the language that well. So he had the book, The Night Villa, in his car, in his taxi, and he gave it to me and he said, just try it. And I said, no, I've never actually read anything in English, I don't know the grammar. And he said, give it a try. If it's one thing you learn about the United States or the American culture, is go for it, you can do it, and you know, all those positive things. So I took it, and I had 25 hours or 26 hours of flight, and I just literally stayed with that book and trying to read and write down the words that I didn't know, and it took like 3-4 months to read it, not during the trip but after the trip. And basically it was my first full book read in English, and that really triggered this passion of finding books in English and reading it and putting down the words that I don't know and looking them up in the dictionary, and just having this confidence that you can actually do it. And I don't even remember what the book was about. It was some adventures with some religion and architectural discovery, but the actual fact that I could stay and read a book all in English was amazing. Next was Nana by Émile Zola. I have this book for a very long time. I was very young when I read it, and again, maybe I shouldn't have, because there are a lot of elements of realism here which tells you the actual reality. And the book revolves around Nana. She is theater singer who is not very talented, but because she goes on the stage without her underwear, with very few articles of clothes, she has a big success, and her life is not very happy. But my main accomplishment was that I read this book in French. As you can tell, it is a good book, it is a solid book, and it's so old and damaged, I cannot even tell you. And it rained on it. It has 390 pages, and it rained on it, so it's brown. And I carried it with me everywhere. and the same, I wrote down the words because I really wanted to have a book read in French. So this was my first one. I was first year at the university, and I was very, very excited to finish it. It took me like 3 months. Jesus Christ. Oh my goodness, oh my God. The next one was The Alchemist by I read this book shortly before going to the States, and I was 20 years old. I was very vulnerable, very confused about life. I didn't know what path to choose, to stay in the States, to go back, to learn this, to study that. So I was a bit confused, and Paulo Coelho, this author, is well known with this book, The Alchemist, which is basically an inspirational, motivational type of novel, and I loved it at the time. I'm really scared to reread it now because I've heard so many other reactions on this book from people that I really appreciate their opinion. So I'm very scared to read it now because at the moment it was what I needed. I needed some faith. Some faith in my own destiny, in my own powers, in my own path. So that book gave me that thing, and I really, really liked it. And I read it in Russian because they didn't have any other versions. Oh my goodness, I remember struggling with that. My next book is Master and Margarita by Bulgakov Mikhail, and this is a version that I recently bought in Romanian because I don't have a new copy. Don't really like it. I don't know. I don't like books that are published in Eastern Europe because they have terrible covers. Basically, this is a book that opened my eyes regarding religion. I mean, the book has different aspects, and it's magical realism, or I'm not sure. But the thing that shocked me the most was the view on the religion. Until that book, until that moment, I was very certain that religion is a holy thing. It cannot be discussed, it cannot be judged, it's just white. There's no black in religion. There's no black and white, there's no gray areas. And I think this book really opened my eyes to the fact that there's no such thing as black and white in life, in religion, in anything. There's always some colors there mixed together, and this is what I got from this book. Okay, let's see my list. Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka. For a very, very long time, Franz Kafka was my favorite author. After I read Metamorphosis, The Process, The Trial, I think it's in English, The Trial, and The Castle, because it shows a very confusing, dark world. And by dark, I don't mean like crime, but just confusing and without any light. No hope, no light from anywhere. And at the time when I was reading that was how I felt. And especially Metamorphosis sounds like such a real story, not the actual story, but the idea of the story, that I was completely frightened. I was scared. So when books have this impact on me, of course, I will remember it for years and years. Next book I remember from my past is Rosemary's Baby by Ira Levine, or Levine, I don't even know. Basically, it's my first horror book. And I read this and I was so shocked. How can somebody put it in a book? And after that I enjoyed it, and I started reading more and more horror books. No list of favorite books or influential books would ever be complete if I do not speak about Russian books and Russian authors. I didn't even know which one to put in this list. War and Peace, Karamazov Brother, Pikovaya Dama, I don't even know. So this is why I wrote it down, one name, then I cut it down and put another one, and then I remembered that my first Russian book that I loved so much, that opened this road of me reading more and more Russian literature, was Crime and Punishment by Fyodor Dostoevsky. And I was only 17, and I was first year at uni, and it was mandatory to read this. So we were reading like 3 books a week plus other books for other classes, but for literature we read 3 books a week. And I remember reading Crime and Punishment, and I said, I don't even care about the rest of the books. This is so good. I love the style, I love the philosophy, I love the plot. I have not reread Crime and Punishment ever since, but I do feel that this is a very important book for me, and it influenced me to go further and read Notes from Underground, War and Peace, Karamazov Brothers, Pico Valladama, Evgeny Onegin, all those, Dr. Zhivago, all those deep books that, I don't know, has the idea of human conscience, human destiny, all those Russian literature. And I'm ending this list of 10 books with the most recent one that I read. It is Zorba the Greek by Nikos Kazantzakis. I made a book review on this, and I have to say that this opened my eyes again on the world. I decided that I will not let life pass me by, and I will not be the person sitting in front of the computer watching videos of people that do things. I will be the person doing things. I could record it, not record it, it doesn't matter. What it matters is that I am going through those things, and if I go out damaged out of that experience, it will be a lesson. If I go out growing, it will be another lesson. So I decided not to be afraid so much of life opportunities. This is what this little thing taught me. So this is it. Thank you so much for watching. I'm sure, I can bet that most of these books are not even known, but they really influenced me at some time in my life, and it's a pleasure to share it with you. Thank you so much. Bye bye.